Recording is on.
Uh, okay. Now, conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is a type of formatting that allows you to apply formatting rules based on specific condition. You can say you should highlight expensive products. So products, you can tag the expensive product as products that are above maybe $7,000. You say it's expensive, and the products that are $1,000 or $2,000 are not expensive. You can highlight that one with yellow color, or the expensive one you can highlight it with maybe red color or something like that. So conditional formatting is where your formatting is based on the value. So it highlights trends and outlier. You can use it to highlight trends and outlier. That is, highlights a value that is outrageous. Like in this case now, something expensive. You say when you say 70 or $80, I mean $7 or $8 and above, you say it is high. So in the same manner, you can use it to highlight outliers. Outliers are simply outrageous values, value that is beyond the range of expected value. I remember when we were talking about outliers under introduction to statistics, that is elementary statistics. We said we gave illustration with the age of students, secondary school students in class. Imagine the age of secondary school students. In fact, junior secondary school for that matter is 100 or 150 years. You should know that that is beyond the range. So somebody like that cannot even be remembering anything. It's very rare, or even be able to walk. Can't talk of being in school, in junior secondary school. So that is an outlier. So you can use conditional formatting to highlight outliers. You can add visual meaning to numeric values, like when you are highlighting uh, price that are expensive. When the let's say when you have something like $7,000 and above. Now, make report more interactive and insightful. And features, color scales for ranges, data bars. You can add data bars to visualize magnitude, icon set for alert or status. So for you to use it, you can just go to Home tab and click Conditional Formatting. You see different options to choose new rules, and as well, you can manage the rules you have chosen. For instance, in this place, in this our sheet, I can just go to home, and under the styles, while I'm on home tab, you see conditional formatting. So in this conditional formatting, you see highlight cell rules. Is one of the options of you can do for your conditional formatting. You can also say top bottom rules. That is highlighting based on maybe top 10 or top 10%, bottom 10 items, that is the lowest 10, bottom 10%, above average, that is things that are above the average. Let's say if it is price above average price, you want to highlight them, or below average, you want to highlight the things that are below the average price. So you can also choose more rules, and then you can say data bars. I want to use data bars to indicate the quantity. For instance, let me highlight this. Which one should I? Okay, let me highlight price. And I come here and I say highlight cell rules, sorry, data bars. And I choose something like this. Let me choose this. You can see the bars is showing the level or let's say the level of the quantity. Like in this case, now we have $699. You see the bar is small. This one like that, like that. Okay, let me change it to another color. It will come out clearer ahead. You can see this. So these are different levels. So these are where you can format your data. Let me undo it. So that is under conditional formatting. So, quick summary is that name ranges simplify formulas, and you can go to name manager to manage your name range. You can use subtotal to summarize group data. We can use data validation to control input values. And you can get it at data tab and then data validation. We can use formatting data to improve readability and clarity. So if you go to home, click format cells, you have what you're looking for. Now, custom formats, that is personalize the displayed formats to get a particular desired output. And conditional formatting, like I said, to highlight patterns or trends. You go to home and then conditional formatting to have that. Now, let's quickly see how far we can go through with the exercises. We may not spend too much time today because I want to stop at some particular point. Now, name ranges. So here, we want to learn how to define and use name ranges in Excel for simplified formulas and enhancing readability, especially when dealing with large data sets. So we have explained what name ranges are, that they allow you to assign meaningful names to a specific group of cells, such as, let's say, column of price or quantities, so that you can easily reference them in formula instead of using a traditional cell address. So you can just reference that particular range by a name as if it is a column name instead of using cells. It makes life easier for you instead of you putting E2 to E1202 as we have it in our worksheet. Now, benefit of name range is easier to read and understand formula, minimize errors in cell referencing, reusable across sheets and formulas, and speed up your workflow. As I just said, instead of you typing E2 to E1202, you just, in fact, while you're typing the name range will appear, you click on it, and that is all. Now, we want to do this particular activity name ranges using the provided workbook. If you click open 2-1 naming range exercise, let me have that here. 2-1, I have 2-1 here. 2-1 naming ranging exercise. So have this. Let me close the other one. Where are you? Close. Hope we are together. Please, if there is any disconnection, do it to let me know. Even though I try to monitor it from time to time. All right. So, using the provided workbook, 2-1 naming ranges, like I've said, um, please, in case you don't have this workbook, indicate in the comment section so that I'll quickly copy the link and drop so you download it. In this particular introduction to Excel workbook folder, if you don't have it, please do well to indicate so that I'll copy, or let me just look for it and copy and paste anyone that needs it. I mean, excuse me, let me look for it. This is five. right. So I'm dropping the link in case you don't have it. Just, in fact, let me drop in the WhatsApp group. Drop, drop. Okay. All right. So if you have it already, if you don't have it, please download and extract, and then let me show you. If you come up here, this is the file that I just sent now. You can just right click, and I'm using Windows 11. So if you come here, you see WinRAR. If you have WinRAR, without WinRAR, you may need to download WinRAR. Just go to Google and type download WinRAR, and the link will come out. You just download it and install it. It's easy to install. So once you install it, if you don't have WinRAR, you may have a zip application in your system. So it will just help you to unzip it. So like I said, right click on it and then go to WinRAR option and then click extract here. So once you say extract here, me I have it already, so it is asking me, would you like to replace the existing file? Yes, yes. So I can just say yes to all. Oh, it's breaking, but I believe it will not break in your own. So, but this is what I've extracted before. Introduction to Excel. So open it. You see, if you open that introduction to Excel, you see workbooks. So this one is where the workbook is. If you go into data set, you see just one data set for one of the exercise, which you have passed, I think. Now, so but what we need in the workbook now is two one naming ranges. I double click on it. I double click on it. So let me sure that we're moving. So I double click on it. I have so want to select the item price values. So that is from E2 to E1202, but I can just go to the formula tab. This is the formula tab. I in the first class, that is the first exact class. I said if you don't have 2021 Excel and above, please do well to remove the one you have and install Excel 2021 and above. Then that is because there are some features we'll be using that you cannot find it in anything below 2021. Though sometimes you see it in 2019, but never will you see it in 2016. So now go to formulas and then you see define name ranges. But then we are told to do what? Highlight E2 to E22. So I will just come to E2, that is item price, because what we want to create name range for is what item price. So even if I'm not told E2 to E1202, just understand that what we want to do is item price. So for item price, please endeavor to mute yourself if you're not asking question. So for the item price, I can just click on the first cell because we are selecting without the sorry, item price, not item cost. So we are selecting the range there without the header. So just click Control and press Shift together with the down arrow. So it will select everything for you down to E1202. I repeat, let me drag it up from here. I repeat, for you to select it without the header, which is the item price. The header here is the item price. All you need to do is to press Control together with your Shift key, and then add the while holding Control and Shift, press the down arrow button. Once you do that, it will highlight everything. You can see the last value here is what 1202, and we highlighted from where? From the second row. So having done that, please, the person, who is this? Who is that? Thank God.
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah. Where, how are you?
Who is that person? Okay. Please, if you are not talking, endeavor to mute yourself, please. That is if you are not asking question. Endeavor to mute yourself. Now, um, so having done that, I go to define name. We want to call that name range item price. Item price. So I copy this name range, that is the name we want to define for the name range, item price, pressing Ctrl C. I believe you have this notes. I sent it, the link is there in the group. So you should have downloaded it by now or before now. So, and I come to define name, I click on it. So this place that is written name, I want to call it item underscore price. So scope, you can leave it as workbook and all that. And of course, we have already selected the range, which is from E2 to E1202. So I click OK. Is that okay? Now next, we want to define the name quantity. Quantity. So we want to call it quantity. That is the quantity columns, which is from CT to C1202. Quantity, that is the other quantity. So we want to define this other quantity column without the header, remember. So I want to select from the second row, Control Shift down arrow, and I have my selection done. Let me scroll up so that I will see clearly. Now I click define name again. I want to input quantity. So I want to define that range as what? Quantity. And I click OK. If you want to add comments, that one is optional for you. So now if I want to see what I have defined from the name range, I just click name manager. If I click name manager, you can see both of them. We have item price and we have quantity. You can choose to edit it, you can choose to create a new one, you can choose to delete it. But we are not doing any of those at the moment. So let me close it. So what do we want to do with this? We want to calculate order line price with it. Order line price. How do you calculate order line price? We want to calculate order line price by saying item price times quantity. So what we mean by that is we want to get the price, order line price in this case. Okay, now let's look at the column. We have quantity and we have what? The item price. So let's assume this particular order number, order ID, which is we call it order number here, even though it's an ID, a kind of primary key. Now, the quantity is 1 and the item price is this. So that means the total price or the total monetary value of this particular item is this times this. So how many of it you have times this item price will give you the other line price. If you scroll down, you will see, I don't know if the ones that are above one. Is there any? Up, not, there's none. So let's just continue. So for you to get the other line price, you just say item price times the quantity. Remember, this item price is the name range we define for the price, item price column. And the quantity is the name range we define for the other quantity, for other quantity column. So now want to in cell reference, in cell R1, that is the next column, the next column. We have here. So the next column is what? R. So inside this R1, we want to define this formula. We have talked a little about formula and function. So when you are manipulating, that is, you're kind of multiplying or dividing or adding two numerical values inside a cell or using their cell references, they are simply using formulas. But when you are doing that with built-in formula in Excel, like sum, average, using functions. So remember, for you to define, to tell Excel that what I want to type now is a formula, you just put equal sign first. Once you put your equal sign first, you are telling Excel, okay, what you should be expecting now is a formula. So now, so I want to call that particular R column order line price. So that's what we are told to call it, not just that I want to. Now, I call the R column underline price. I just copy and paste. Don't stress ourselves. Look for easiest way to do things. Instead of typing, just copy paste. Now, this formula, item price equals to what? Quantity. I would have loved to copy and paste as well, but for you to see what we are doing, I want to say equal to. That is for you to see the power of the name range we are talking about. I want to say equal to item. So immediately I wrote IT, the item price I defined in the name range has what appeared. So instead of me to begin to, highlight the whole of those cells with name range, it makes life easier for me. I click on it and I say times what is it name of the second name range again? Times quantity. So I just type Q. You can see the quantity we define as the name range has appeared. So we select it. Just double click on it to select it. So automatically it has selected the what we wanted. Let me scroll back so you can see selected order quantity and item price. So we're multiplying those two columns. So once I hit enter, it will give me the results for that. Give me the result for that. Now, so we want to now copy the formula down to the remaining this thing, the remaining rows. If you observe, the item price is 3578.27 times 1, give you the same result. So for me to copy it down, that is, I can use autofill, or I just, like I've said before, while your cursor is in this big cross-like shape, move it to the small square by the bottom left of your highlighted cell. So once you move it on top, you discover that it will change to small cross. So it's either you drag, sorry, it's either you drag it down, or let's say if I drag it down, you see it to continue. Let me undo. Or you double click and it will autofill everything for you. So it will do the same calculation you did in this first cell. It will do it for you in the remaining cell. But remember, like we said, in this is what you struggle with in Excel sheet, but in Excel table that we used in the last class, Excel table will just run everything for you automatically. So that's why sometimes or most times you prefer using Excel table. But this worksheet is provided for us as Excel sheet. Now, finding the average. So to find the average of the order line price, this particular column we just created, all we just need is to go to the last row of that particular R column, which is created newly, and then impute this formula average of everything there. So I come down here, I say equal to average. So once I put equal to, it's expecting either a formula or a function. So you can see there are different averages here. We're going to talk about others later on. But the first average is what we're looking for. So double click on it, and it's requesting for the numbers that you want to take average. And the numbers you want to average, remember average is mean. Oh, we talked about it in the introduction to elementary statistics. So I can just click here, Control Shift, drop down, and it will highlight through to the end for me. So that is 1202. So I click enter. So this is the average of the order line price, which is the product of item price and the quantity. That is multiplying item price by quantity. We have all of this. So um, the the question is what is the result? Rounded to two decimal place. 3216.59. We have here what we get in this place. 3216. Now you can decide to format this. Go to Home tab and then format it in two decimal place. Just two. So remember, we say for you to format just under the number group. While you're on Home tab, you see this arrow pointing to the left, that to decrease decimal. That's what I just clicked now to decrease it. And to round it, and I say I'm decreasing it, rounding it out to two decimal place. So we have 3216.59, as you can see here. Please, I want to know if there is any question or confusion before we continue. Are we there? Any question? You can drop in the chat session that I have a question. Now, in absence of that, next we have is the subtotal to analyze data. Looking at subtotals to analyze data. Please give me 30 seconds. Let me confirm something. All right, I'm back. So, want to see how to use subtotal as we have seen when we explain each of these concepts. And to understand how to use this lesson, is to understand how to use the Excel subtotal feature to perform group summary calculation. Like I said, what you are seeing in subtotal is still the same thing you are doing in grouping, group by, something like that. You still meet it in Power BI and Excel. Now, so to perform group summary calculation, specifically average delivery time by country without manually writing formulas. So as a matter of refresher, what is subtotal feature in Excel? Allows you to automatically calculate grouped totals like sum, average, count, etc. for data that is sorted by a specific column. So you sort it based on the column you want to get the subtotal for it. So it is useful for getting quick summary of numerical values, understanding patterns by category, avoid manual calculation errors. Now, we're working with the 2_2 subtotal exercise. Let me close this one. Each time I close, I always use don't save because I will need it for another class. Okay, but you can save your own. Now, of course, all the exercise we've been completing, you can be going through the data camp platform to be completing them so that your progress will be counting. Is that okay? Now, where is my tab? Okay. So want to open the 2 subtotal file in your workbook folder. 2 subtotal. Actually, we're going to complete all of these workbooks to finish this particular course. We're almost halfway. Maybe tomorrow we'll try to be faster so that we should throw it introduction to Excel and go to something else because we have limited time to achieve much. Now, let me minimize this. So having opened 2 subtotal file, what do we want to do? First of all, we want to, duplicate the worksheet so that we do the subtotal in another sheet and we rename it sales subtotal. So sales subtotal, right? For you to duplicate your worksheet, just come to this, the name of the tab, the name of the type, right click on it, and you see move or copy. So we are not moving, but we are copying. So just click on it. It will request for move to end or whatever. Just click create a copy. Is that okay? Create a copy. Select create a copy and click OK. And the copy has been created, and that is where we are. So this is the other one, normal sales that we have, and then create a copy. There's an instruction that we missed. That instruction says, okay, first of all, let me finish this. So this sales in brackets to now want to change it, change the name. For you to change the name, first let me click outside. For you to change the name, just double click on it. Either you double click on it or you right click and then click rename. But I want to just double click, bam, bam, and it will highlight for you to change. So I just paste what I've copied, which is subtotals. I want to remove that full stop. Subtotals. And then there's an instruction which we omitted or which we jumped, which says delete the order line price column if it exists from the previous exercise. So the what we did in the previous exercise, actually, remember I said that each of this workbook is a continuation of the previous workbook you used in the previous exercise. So this is the order line price we calculated in the previous exercise. So we just want to delete it. I right click and click. While selecting on it, I right click and click delete, select delete, and it's gone. Now, we want to now, I've done the renaming as you see. So we want to sort data by country. So you go to customer country and sort it. Now, remember we're dealing with sheet here, not the Excel table that already have a filter and sort feature on each column. Now, but in this case, we need to apply it manually. So you just add filter to your table, go to home and sort and whatever, you add filter to it. So while you're on home, you click on the sort and select filter. Sorry, not there. Oh, let's select the whole of this, the headers, and then select filter. So you can see the filter is there. Now, even though this is bad selection that I just did because it will go ahead and select other empty columns. So what we're looking at now is to sort alphabetical order from, that is ascending order, the customer country. Customer country. So I come to the customer country. This is the customer country. Let me expand. This is the customer country. So if I click on this drop, because immediately you click on that filter under editing while on home tab, remember, immediately you click on this drop down arrow and click on your filter, you see all this drop down arrow will appear, or this drop down arrow. So each of those columns, or the column we are interested in at the moment is the customer country. So we click A to Z. So this place is for sorting, here is for filtering. So here is the one if you want to filter, or here is for sorting. So because it's an alphabetical, that is a textual column, we sort in ascending order A to Z. So we click this and you can see it is sorted for us. Now, next instruction we have is to apply the subtotal feature. So for you to apply the subtotal feature, you simply go to data tab and then subtotal and then apply all of this. At each change, you see a dialog box, and that dialog box is it at each change in. We input customer country there. Use function average. Remember, is the average we want to get. Average of order to delivery. Remember how we got order to delivery in one of the exercises. That is the difference between the order date and the delivery due date. That is the date that an order was made. Let me open the Excel file so I will see. This order to delivery. That is this column. Order to delivery. We got it by saying the order due dates minus the order date. So if you subtract the order date, the date that this product was ordered, subtract it from the day that the delivery was made, you get order to delivery. That is how many days it took the deliverer to deliver the goods or the item. Now, that's how we got this order to delivery column. So we want to see the average of order to delivery for each country. So each country want to see the average of the order to delivery. So to do that, we go to the data tab and then we see the subtotal. So we just go to our data tab, this data tab, and then you see subtotal under the outline group. Under the outline group. So you see sub total. By the time you click on it, it will bring this dialog box for you. Number one is at each change in. So this at each change is expecting you to select a categorical column like we have in the instruction in the notes, that we should select customer country in that place because we want to check the average order to delivery for each country. So in that place, I click this drop down arrow and I select customer country. This is it. Now use function. What do you want to do? Do you want to count it? Do you want to add the order to delivery, or do you want to check the maximum order to delivery or minimum order to delivery? What you want to do is the average order to delivery. So you select average here. Now, is it model we want to calculate the average? No, we are looking at order to delivery. This is this one, order to delivery. So you can choose to select replace current subtotal. Assuming there's any subtotal, you replace it if there's any. If you don't want it to replace, you uncheck, but that might cause confusion at times. Then if you want to page break between those, it can break the page for you, and then but you need to select a summary below data so that it will give you summary. So we click OK, and then once you do that, you will see something like this at the left, at the extreme left. You see something like 1, 2, 3. So this 1, 2, 3 means something. So this 1, 2, 3 is what will show you your grouping. If you click 2, your 2 will show you the data that has been grouped based on country. This is country. So Australia now, the average order to delivery for Australia is 6.02 whatever. Average, I mean for Canada, the average is 5.7. For France, the average is 6.3. Germany is 6. United Kingdom is 5.6. United States 5.8, and then the average in general for all of them is 5.9. You can see um, the if you are to take the standard deviation for this order to delivery, it will be very small because they are a bit consistent. Each country is almost the same thing, has the same number of days. So with this, we're able to get the average delivery for each country. That's what subtotal does for you. So it gives you um, either sum total or average or count for each category you selected. In this case, is customer country. So this is what will appear if you choose two. Now, before I choose 1 and 3 and see what is there, if I click plus here, it will show me the rest of the information for Australia. That is, everything here is for Australia. What you are seeing now is for Australia. Right there. If I scroll up, I have from Australia down, and then we see the average for Australia is this. If I close it by pressing this minus, it will close. And if I press the plus for Canada, it will show me the information for Canada. So everything here you can see from here is Canada down to this place, Canada. Let me close it so you can check other ones as well. Now, if I click 3, what 3 will showing me is everything, all your data. And then as you scroll, you can see from Australia, and you get to the last Australia, you see, you can see Australia, you get the average of order to delivery. If you continue scrolling, you get to Canada, the last Canada value, you see the Canada average. Okay, so the number 3 is showing you the whole data, while the number 2 is just giving you the summary. So it's just giving you the grand average, which is 5.9, which is still visible when you click 2. Right there. So I want to collapse this. So when you click 2, the grand average is still visible there. So that is how you do your sub total. I don't know if there is any question. If you are around, please endeavor to ask. Now, in the interpretation of the result is what we just did now. The question says, the question we have in the data campus exercise is, what is the order time for customers in Germany? So if you check for customers in Germany, you will see that it is 6. So you can go to your exercise and complete it, that it is what? 6. So I want to see custom formatting and data validation. But I don't know if there's any question. If there is, please unmute yourself. Now, custom format, want to apply custom formatting for monitoring or use data validation to enforce data integrity in worksheets. So, custom formatting, what is custom formatting? It allows you to define how values are displayed beyond Excel's default option. So, want to see how to format monetary columns. So step 1, we want to delete the sales subtotal. But before then, wait. Okay, the name of this workbook is not indicated. Let me capture it here. Margin subtotal, custom formatting. 2-3 custom formatting. There is this 2-3. So let me close this. Let me close this. Don't save. I want to save it 2-3. 2-3 custom formats. So the first instruction is that we should clean up the workbook by deleting the sales subtotal worksheet because we are done with it. We don't need it anymore. So just delete this. So for you to delete a worksheet, you right click on that worksheet, the name of that worksheet. In this case, we are dealing with sales subtotal. Right click on it and click delete and accept that you should permanently delete it and it's gone. Aha. Mind you, when you delete it, you may not be able to. Oh, note yourself. And thank you. Now, I want to delete the sales. Well, we just deleted the sales up to that, and I want to format the sales worksheet as a table. So we go to insert, and then, of course, if you look at this instruction, it says format all data sets in your worksheet as a table. So what we have here. So for you to do that, just like we said, go to insert table or use Control T. For those maybe that mixed a class for that, this is the 2-3 custom format. Go to insert, you see table, click on it, this dialog box will come up. But before then, you must have selected the range. So I want to select from here. For me to select the whole range of data in this particular worksheet, sales worksheet, normally, like I've done before, Control Sheet, and then I press right arrow key first, and then down arrow key to highlight everything. So we have it highlighted. I press table. So I press table, you can see it, everything is there for me. But if I don't want to go through insert tab, I can just, after doing that, I press Control T. I press Control T, it will tell me where is the data for your table. I've selected it already. In case you did not select it, you can still click on this arrow pointing up and then go ahead to do your selection. If you are done, click enter. And Excel wants to know if your table have headers. And yes, our table have headers. You can see there is product subcategory, and there is product, and there is product color, and there is model. Please don't mind the noise that is coming from the environment. Now, so I can say my table have headers, and I click OK. So you can see it has formatted our sheet as a table. Now, the next instruction we have is we want to format the item cost column. So highlight the item cost column, open the format cells dialog, and go to the custom tab, and then we want to format it in this format. Remember, we are looking at the item. Am I in the right place? Yes. Oh, sorry. It is scrolling too fast. Good. So open the table item. Am I dealing with the correct file? Am I dealing with the correct file? 2-3 formats. Am I dealing with the correct file? Let me check. two, three custom formats. Two, three custom formats. Yeah. But we're having a problem with this data set. We're having, please, I don't know if anybody's workbook folder is open. If you open yours, are you having the same thing with mine? Let me close this and open again. But it's from here we are able to create all of this. So why am I having something different? Am I having something different? Okay. If that is the case, okay. Sorry. I did not scroll through to this place. Sorry. I'm the one messing up the whole thing. So I right click and delete this one as we have done before now. Now what we need is minimize. So the item cost, we want to format it. So with this particular formatting indicating separation, that's 1,000 separator without any decimal value, that is zero decimal place. So this, what we are seeing is the way to format it to have 1,000 separator without decimal value. Just hash, comma, hash, 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 and then a dollar sign in order to indicate dollar after the that is a dollar value. So I come to item costs. I can right click and say format cells. Now custom. So when I like right click and click format cell, I can go to custom. Go to custom. Yeah. So in this custom, what is there is general. Let me highlight it and paste what I have. Hash, comma, triple hash, then dollar. So like I said, this particular, you can see other options here, hash, comma, hash, hash, zero, hash, comma, hash, hash, 0.00, and so on and so forth. All of them with different formatting. So but this one will help us run the item cost in, by the time you click OK, you see it need it to be whole number, that is without decimal value, and then making it to have dollar sign to indicate that this is a dollar value there column. Now, want to format the item price as well. We repeat the same process by copying this. For item price, I highlight on item price, I right click on it and go to format cells and then click custom. And then inside this place that is general, I highlight it and paste the formatting I have and then click OK. So you can see it is also now formatted in dollars. So that is custom formatting. Now, what about data validation in Excel? Which we may be stopping with data validation. We even exceeded the time I wanted to stop. Now, data validation in Excel helps control what values users can enter into specific cells. This improves data quality and prevent input errors. Like I've said before, it will help you to prevent people putting something that you don't want. So in this exercise, sorry, the file is not also indicated, but it's just the next file, which is, sorry, please let me be sure. Before then, okay, I suppose we are still in the same exercise. Yeah, we're still in the same exercise. Okay, okay. Now, so want to highlight the order quantity column to apply data validation, and want to allow only whole number. Of course, order quantity, that is the number of quantity that was ordered for each product, is, it cannot be decimal value. Imagine saying that somebody ordered 2.2 shirts or 2.5 shirts, 2.5 shirts. That is not possible. So every value in the order quantity column must be a whole number. So we want it to allow only whole numbers, and it should be greater than 0. So the minimum will be 0. So let's go to data validation. We want to highlight the order quantity and go to data validation. Where is it? This is order quantity. And then we go to data, and then we have our data validation here under the data tools while you're on the data tab. So click on the data validation, and after you click on it, so we currently it is allowing any value, but we don't want it to allow any value. We want it to allow whole numbers. Sorry, this want it to allow only whole numbers. So click this drop down arrow and then select whole numbers. And then between what, we want it to allow only what is greater than minimum 0. So what is greater than 0? So you can exploit other options on your own. Just try not between, equal to, less than, greater than, and so on and so forth. But for the purpose of this exercise, we are looking at whole numbers greater than 0. So by the time you click OK, the next thing you want to check what we just did. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed a step. So we want as well add error alert message. So you can go to error alert tab in that dialog box and then customize the message and say invalid entry, other quantity must be greater than 0. That is when a user enters the wrong thing. Let me undo. Let me undo what I just did. So go back to other quantity. While on data tab, click on data validation. We select whole numbers. We want to say greater than 0. Greater than 0. Now, for the alert message, that is the error alert, we want to say error alert. We want to say invalid. Want to call it, that is the title, invalid entry. Invalid entry. And the style you want to use is stop. You can decide to use warning in the case of warning. You can start to use information. If you click warning now, you see the icon will change to warning icon. If you click information, it will change to information icon. But what we want now is stop. So I say other quantity must be greater than 0. Let me add the full stop to it. Okay. And then I think we also need an input message. Okay, no need, no, there's no request for input message. So want to click OK. Otherwise, you can decide to say that is when cell is selected, show this input message. Are you there? Okay, you can just let me just add it so you see. When the cell is selected, show please input only whole numbers. Only whole numbers. Let me call it inputs. Let me call it input. That is the title. So this is what will be shown when you select the cell. And this error alert message when somebody wants to enter something different. So I click OK. Now, if I highlight on the cell now, it's telling me what? Please input only whole numbers. Is that okay? Now, let me scroll down and go to the last row. So here now, it's telling me, please input only whole numbers. Now, I want to input 2.3. It tells me, on invalid entry, other quantity must be greater than what? 0. I want to retry. And now put minus 5. It tells me again, invalid entry, other quantity must be greater than 0. Now, if you notice this error message is not good enough, we can also say because minus 5 now, you're not telling the user, okay, when we imputed 2.3, you're not telling the user that it must be whole number. So you can go ahead to edit the error message to say other quantity must be greater than 0 and must be a whole number, or you can say must be a whole number and greater than 0. So, so with that, let me now retry again and just say, let me call it 5 now, and it accepts it. So with this data validation, you cannot, your sheet cannot accept any error in your data entry. Let me delete this because we don't need it. So we have successfully tested it. So the question is, if you enter the value 0 in cell, would you get an error? You can practicalize that. Let's see, if you press 0, because it says the value must be what? Greater than what? 0. So 0 is less than, is equal to 0, but you are requesting for something greater than 0 because somebody cannot buy quantity of shirts 0. That means the person did not purchase anything. So let me click cancel. Now, so with that, next class tomorrow we want to continue with aggregates and arithmetic operations. So I think we're going to stop here. I don't know if there are questions. A number of questions. Most. So thank God and Shola. I don't know if you have questions. If we can entertain any before we call it a night and continue tomorrow. Hello, are you there? Hello. Okay. Okay, what is the issue, Shola? You can unmute yourself and speak. Hello, are you there? What is the issue you're having? Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. Oh, You can't unmute yourself. Okay, let me unmute you from here. I don't know if that is possible. I don't know. Oh, okay. Okay, it's not working from my end. Wow, 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 wow. But if you can you, I believe you can still see my screen. Let me select this. I believe you can still see my screen. If you come to this place and just click, now I'm unmuted. If I clicking on this, I unmute. So if you do that, it doesn't work in your system. Okay. All right. Well, so I wish. Okay. Maybe chat me up later in WhatsApp so that I will understand what is actually the problem. Okay. Okay. You can do that. You can do that. If you can solve the problem, that is fine. Okay. So for now, we will call it a night. So tomorrow we continue. Thank you very much for joining the class. Have a wonderful night. See you tomorrow.